actually, I think it requires that the weak are the ones that oppress people because they're so scared. It's when you have strength, true strength in your heart, then you bring protection and to other people because you can do that.
Right. Yeah, I agree. So like, basically, like, just because you have the power, like, right, to do something doesn't mean you like should dominate someone. You should, be like I guess like a steward. Like, don't use your power.
Superhero.
Yeah, exactly, like a superhero.
Like Spider-Man. It's like straight up. He's my idol. Okay.
All right. Well, we appreciate you stopping by. What's your name?
Melodic Jones.
Melodic Jones. I'm Nick. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you, Nick.
So today we're talking about like dynamics between like the powerful and the powerless, essentially. Mm-hmm. So do you think like someone maybe being stronger or someone being smarter, do you think that gives them the right to, like dominate or oppress someone else solely for that reason? Like,
no, actually, I think it requires that the weak are the ones that oppress people because they're so scared. It's when you have strength, true strength in your heart, then you bring protection and to other people because you can do that.
Right. Yeah, I agree. So like, basically, like, just because you have the power, like, right, to do something doesn't mean you like should dominate someone. You should, be like I guess like a steward. Like, don't use your power.
Superhero.
Yeah, exactly, like a superhero.
Like Spider-Man. It's like straight up. He's my idol.
Exactly. Yeah. Me too. I love Spider-Man. He's my favorite superhero. But
he's the most altruistic. I asked myself, what would Spider-Man do? Not what would Jesus do.
Yeah. I mean, that's a great. Yeah, that's a great example. The saying.
Fictional characters. Well, I mean, he wasn't exactly fictional, but Spider-Man is.
Yeah, I get what you mean. So I guess kind of flipping the dynamic a little bit. How do you feel about like the animals, for example, that we like send into slaughterhouses and use and like medical testing, for example, or like put in zoos, and like behind these cages?
Oh, it's fucked up.
Yeah,
it's messed up. I mean, there's a reason why we're all so unhealthy. It's because the food that we eat is unhealthy.
Yeah.
Regardless of whether, we should stop eating food, and there's like debate whether, we should all be vegan or something like that. It's like, it doesn't matter. It's like the food that we eat, there's enough territory and land mass to be able to actually house like decent food. If people ate proper proportions and, decent, like the more decent food you eat, the less of it you need to eat. The more shitty food you eat, the more you need to eat because it's devoid of any sort of anything.
Like I know there's a lot of noise going on over here, but like what you were kind of saying is, well, actually, like, so if the world were to like adopt a plant-based diet, or if we were to shift towards like a plant-based food system, we'd actually be able to free up 75% of our agricultural land. But then we'd have to use all of that because in order to actually subset the meat, the proteins, you have to grow a shit ton more food. When I tried veganism, I had to eat so much to keep up my metabolism because of the type of metabolism that I have. Well, think about it this way. So we breed 90 plus billion land animals into existence currently, and we have to grow crops to feed these animals, right?
No,
so
not necessarily.
Well, what
we
do they
grow the crops to feed us and the animals at the same time?
Well, what I'm saying is, we breed these animals into existence. We clear land to farm them. We clear land because we have to feed them, right?
That's just poor farming. There's polyculture, not actually like related to polyamory, but a polyculture instead of monoculture crops. Polyculture crops will have ground cover, vining plants, trees, bushes, all growing on the same plot where you can quadruple, centuple your fucking your production rate, rather than what we do is the monoculture, because that's easier, and it's just poor planning. It's poor corporate mentality instead of actually melding it. Like I actually was I worked on farms in Costa Rica and also here, and the difference is that in Costa Rica they actually utilize the actual full, like the full might of the ground. Like instead of what we do is we just destroy it by just doing monoculture crops, which makes it arid after a good 20 years.
Well, I mean, I don't know too much, I guess, about what'd you call it? It was
polyculture.
Polyculture. I'll have to look into that. I don't know too much about that, but
agriculture, polyculture is monoculture. Think of it that way.
Okay. Basically, though, the point I was making, right, is kind of what I was saying, though. I mean, if we were to just free up all this land, we'd be able to, because I mean, the leading driver of species extinction currently is animal agriculture, right?
Well, no. I mean, really, it is that we have poor planning and poor production rates. That's really what it comes down to. All of our production is totally fucking stupid. And it's based on an archaic system where we have to keep on working. And like most of the production that we do has never been improved in 70 years, in 100 years, because it works. And corporate goons are making money. So they just do that. So what really is the issue is that we need to look at our system in general, that we actually don't even need to actually do that much. We could just literally plant more stuff on the same ground, and it would actually improve the rate of growth quadruple, centuple. Or what we could do is stop expanding outwards and expand upwards, and then all that farmland that's disappearing would actually still be freed up. Or what we could do is just actually care about the animals that we're eating, and actually spend time. Like I've straight up farmed, grew, bred and killed this duck it was the best duck I've ever had. But I was sad for that duck, but that duck gave me life to be able to feed other animals, to help other people. And that's the thing is I've already tried veganism and it doesn't work for me, and it doesn't. And the plant-based stuff, plant-based substitutes, they fuck up my gut. And I tried for 2 years to be a vegan, and I couldn't, because I was wasting away and I was just agitated all the time. As soon as I started eating meat again, it actually helped me. But I eat good meat, quality meat that wasn't killed in some massive factory. I eat local, and that lowers my carbon footprint, and also it's usually sustainable, not necessarily organic, because that's a bullshit hocus pocus tune, but it's always grass-fed, free range, beef, chicken, and that's I've tried to stay away from beef, but it's mainly poultry, chicken that I use, because that's, I mean, you can have 10 chickens in an 8 plot area. What you're talking about mainly is pigs and cows.
Well,
that is 90% of the farmland is used for those.
Yeah, I mean, well, I guess I want to go over a few things there. So you kind of had mentioned that you tried veganism and you said it wasn't for you. Can I ask, what kind of, were you just eating fake mock meats, or was
no,
that?
No. I was trying everything. Thug Kitchen. It's one of the coolest books ever. It's literally it's just it's a really good book. I would eat mushrooms are probably the closest that came to being able to subsidize my meat intake. Mushrooms, portobello mushroom burgers. I make them mean, so good, with some balsamic vinaigrette and some seasonings. You soak that, marinate it, and it almost tastes just like a regular burger. But the thing is, I wasn't just eating plant-based meat alternatives. Cheese alternatives, horrible. The production of cheese-based alternatives, vegan-based alternative for cheese, is pretty much the equivalent to plastic. The same thing with butter. A lot of these plant substitutes are actually just as bad for the environment as it is as the growing the animals to make it.
Yeah, well, I mean, if you're, obviously you don't have to necessarily eat the fake butter or the fake cheese. You can.
Yeah, no, that's the thing, is a lot of people want to, and thus vegan substitutes for meat-based products or animal-based products are actually horrible for the body and for the environment, most of them.
Well, I mean, a lot of these substitutes probably aren't going to be, the healthiest. Nobody's arguing that. Or we're not arguing, saying that they're necessarily
arguing
healthy.
That releasing a lot of the land mass will help with agriculture.
Well, yeah, it will, because if we were to free up land,
in turn, you're also increasing textiles production, which increases pollution. So there's a hell of a lot more pollution done to create cheese-based alternatives than which are basically plastics.
What do you think's more sustainable, though? Farming 90+ billion land animals and having to clear land for them, for the crops they're going to have to eat, because we got to fatten these animals up, plus on top of the crops that we also eat. So what do you think, clearing that or getting rid of 2/3 of that, and then whether we produce these vegan
No,
alternatives.
you have to fill up all of that land for the amount of plant-based substitute to actually subset the amount of food you would need to eat.
So you're saying that if we were to stop farming animals and then stop farming crops,
if we stopped farming animals and stopped eating meat entirely, let's say all the meat was gone forever, like no more meat, we would have to subset our diet just as much land mass to like eat like alternatives, like vegetables and all, to get the nutrients that we need, the enzymes that comes from meat that are almost irreplaceable, that our body actually does need. And not to mention like cooked food, cooked meat, braised meat, that char is actually good for the body.
Well, I mean, the research would disagree with you there, because
whose research? There's so many different nutritional research, but none of it is actually the same.
Well, for example, Our World in Data, which is a huge organization that takes data from.
Okay, so what's your counterpoint?
What I'm saying is they've looked into this, right? And it's their.
Okay, they have but what is their checks?
I'm getting to that. You got to let me speak.
Yeah.
They're saying that, we'd be able to free up, like I said, 75% of our agricultural land shifting away from animal farming.
Yeah.
So we'd free up the land. We wouldn't be using that land because producing crops, right, takes so much less land than because clearing land to farm animals, we have to do that on top of clearing land to feed these animals, right?
Have you ever worked on a farm?
No, I haven't worked on a farm.
Okay, so the land mass that they have is the food that they eat for the most part. Like literally it's grass.
You're talking about grazing animals,
Yeah.
but that's not currently like 99% of the meat that comes that people eat here in
Not
the US it's about 99%.
Not in Portland.
Well, I'm just saying in the US, for example, about 99% of it is factory farmed
Probably
meat.
most of it's Texas.
So we don't the majority of it is factory farmed meat, but the reason why factory farming even became a thing was because it was more sustainable and easier to farm all these animals, right? And so if we were to switch to a grazing system, sure, that might be better for the animal, but it still wouldn't be humane, but
generally that's the
we'd
point,
use more
though.
land doing that.
No, actually we wouldn't if we used polyculture. If we straight up, what we could do is just straight up.
But do you think that's sustainable to feed?
Yeah,
8
it's actually
billion people?
No. Yeah, it is. Polyculture literally quadruples the amount of food that you can create. You have vining plants, bushes, ground cover, and trees all producing food on the same plot that all work together. And when they all die, because they actually work together. That's why monoculture will destroy the land, because it's not restoring the nitrogen and nutrients in the soil that requires for forests to stay lush.
Well, listen, I'll look into that. I don't know. I'll admit, I don't know too much about.
There's hell of a lot more alternatives than just getting rid of meat. That's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. As much as you want it to, it is not going to happen.
You gotta.
Too many people. No, see, that's the thing is, you're coming up with the same solution.
You're not letting me speak,
Remove
though.
it. But you're not
me
saying anything new.
Well, you're just rounding off all these points. You got to let me talk. You got to let me respond.
I haven't heard a new point yet.
All right. Well, then maybe we should end this conversation.
Well,
if
no,
you're not going to let me.
Give me a different point besides, let's stop using meat.
Okay.